Oh. Good evening, sisters of the Hello Kitty Coven. Today's day 1.259. I'm going to try not to kick the table with my knee. It's January 26th. It's kind of late in the day. And I was thinking a little bit, meditating, if you will, earlier, and I guess I better lose the get up or you'll never take me seriously. Oh, I always loved Hello Kitty. Okay. And of course, as a young strapping lad, I could not partake of the Hello Kitty. So now it's a different story. All right, there we go. Better? You take me seriously now? Ooh, you're in luck. One more sip. This video is going to be of somewhat importance to me. It may not be of importance to you, but I had a thought, and good thoughts are far and few between. Usually, you have lots of bad advice or thoughts. Although you could argue that no thought, like a tool, is good or bad. It just is. But something that Jamie, my good friend Jamie, bless her heart, had asked me earlier was about, now that I'm kind of on my collision course with surgery, do I have any second thoughts? Any doubts? Is what I want to do. Because it's definitely, most things are undoable, but a penile inversion is definitely destructive. You can't go back, like most things. And when I detransitioned in the 90s, even though it sucked ass, and I had to get my hair cut and my breasts went away, and it really was like a part of my soul had been ripped away. I later found that. But, like most things, HRT and everything else, to a degree, it's undoable in a way. In a way that, a penile inversion is not. In the same way an orchi is not. You are cutting, damaging, tearing apart stuff. It'll never be that way, same way again. So the question is, do you have any doubts? And I can say that I don't. And as I was kind of thinking tonight and meditating a little bit, the more it has become recently, in the last week, I hate to say that, since I got to go for surgery, maybe in the last 3 days. That's a good number. Uh-oh. Yes, baby? Must be doing something else. In the last 3 days, maybe, it's become... Hang on, just bear with just a sec. I'm going to pause the video because I don't want her to be outside. All right, will that unpause it? There we go. Okay, where were we? All right, we got some new friends. Hi. Cats are curious. Where were we? In the last couple days, it really has sunk in somewhat. You have to bear with. Everyone's curious. Salam. Okay, he's in my drawers. Hang on. In the last couple days, it really has become more critical that I do complete this part. And I won't say that I don't feel complete, but that's almost the way that it is. And there are times when if we differentiate ourselves, and I know in the Bible it talks about one day we'll be in heaven, souls don't have sexes or gender or whatnot. And, you know, if we take away these trappings, this mortal coil, okay, I feel somewhat like if you were able to take out your personality or your brain or your soul, kind of like a pilot, and you had that, you know, sometimes I feel that way, like I am, my body is a machine of some kind, and inside here is this little, like, you know, bridge, and there's a captain and a crew. And I think there were a couple of movies. I know there's an Eddie Murphy movie where he's like a robot. And of course you have Inside Out a couple years ago with emotions. But I feel like that person who's in the command chair, and if I didn't see myself, if I just looked out at my eyes, I sometimes forget, you know, who I am, like my gender. And of course, then I look down at my hands now, my painted fingernail hands, which are still massively huge hands, because I was a massively huge person before. You know, this is the way my hands are. You know, that's not going to change. You know, but when I look down and I can see my skirt, this is one of the skirts that I made when I was just starting out, and I wear it a lot because it's long and flowing. Again, you know, then I feel connected. But I wonder if I was that little cylinder, that little controlled person who doesn't really have a gender, maybe. Probably a whole discussion for another time. I feel like connected as I am to this body, I need that down below to be changed. Now, I don't want to say that, and I don't want to make this a generalization. This is something for me, okay? This is Robin, this is Karen, this is me. I don't think I will feel complete, for lack of a better word, until I have the surgery. And I can't express it any other way. It's like there have been times in my life where I've been hell bent. Yes, I have to have it. Yes, I have to have it. Or can I have it? I'll never have it. How can I be? You know, God, why did you make me this way? You know, and now that I'm like really, really close, or 8 weeks and some change close, it's like, yeah, you know, I finally will be, I'm not going to say a whole person, but I don't think there'll be any part of this vessel that will be male. You know what I mean? I mean, if anything, that has been the point of this transition. You know, internally female, and transition to change all of these secondary characteristics as much as possible. If I was a little more into trying to, you know, change my personality in a way that didn't sound fake, you know, if I was able to talk in a way and express myself in this way, I wish I could do this all the time because I legitimately feel better this way. But I don't know really if this is the way life is. You know, this is almost too simple to do. And I've definitely been told this is fake. So I have to go back to my other voice now. Otherwise, I'll lose myself in it. It'd be nice to lose myself in that personality, that voice. You know, and I know of some trans women who have done that, you know, very well. But again, I don't feel like I will be complete. And over the last couple of days, that really has solidified because of, I think, some of what Jamie was saying about, you know, are you sure? Or do you have any doubts? You know, and I think that's a very adult and responsible thing to do, is to evaluate where you are. And with all the information you have now, to say, is this still something I want to do? You know, and I imagine there have been times in my life where I would have been, hell yeah, that's what I want to do, you know. And now it's like, yeah, I have to do it. Does that make any sense? And part of this, there's a part two to this somewhat too. I am exploring some spirituality right now that, I admittedly, I felt somewhat like, because of being transgender, God had turned his back on me. Why would a loving God, who loves you and cares about you, why would he put anyone through this hell? Transgender. And you could say the same thing about, folks that are born, with broken bodies or broken spirits. And you have to say again, how can a loving God do this? And that's for greater people than me to answer. But, I've been trying to understand that. And for someone who says, well, everything happens for a reason, I just want to do that. Yeah, probably so. So, but again, part of that spirituality is when I was not that long ago, probably about 20 years ago, is when I kind of got in touch with Wicca, and I really like the idea of a male and a female energy. And I know I've been talking about this last couple of days, but I have so much programming in my mind, brainwashing, for lack of a better word. My good friend Annabelle would call it brainwashing. I've said it a minute ago. I said God is a man, is a male. He's patriarchal. He's the all-encompassing, all good spirit. And I don't think it's that simple. And so I really do like the idea of Wicca and there being a divine entity that is everything, that doesn't have a gender. And then as part of that, component-wise, is a masculine and a feminine energy, a god and a goddess. And again, all of the things that I have been programmed and thankful for. I mean, I truly, every day, I say, thank you, God. And that's that programming. But I'm truly thankful. I'm thankful for where I'm at now. I'm thankful for all the things that I've learned. Okay, I'm thankful. And again, you could say everything happens for a reason and your soul has experienced or whatever. But, part of me is looking at that as the reality of everything, the universe, which I do believe in. But then also now to be thinking about feminine and masculine energies. What I have chosen to, focus on as feminine as Athena and masculine as Odin. Okay. And, I think about Athena, and if you're Wiccan, insert your own goddess here, patron goddess. But for me, it's Athena. Athena's wise. And her symbol is the owl, and I have a very close, I like owls a lot. But I hope that, that has been a divine energy that was closed off to me because I was so programmed with the patriarchal Christian / Catholic, God, the Father, the Son, okay, the Father and the Son, the Holy Spirit. There's no woman there. I mean, it's totally rigged against women, but that's another story for another time. So as I tried to, in this last 20 some odd months, 2 years, I've tried to get in touch with that feminine energy and get in touch with that feminine space. And the more and more that my body has changed and my mind has changed, I want to open myself up to that. And so I hope that Athena, goddess, will show me some of that women's spirituality and what life is like from that side. But again, I have programming in me. I'm a product of my environment. And that was the way that I was raised. And then I want to look at the flip side of that. If I look at the male energy, what you would consider to be the god, or in my case, I consider to be Odin. Odin was pretty damn cool, and Odin sacrificed a lot of things for knowledge. And I look at my relationship to that masculine energy, and for 40 some odd years, I was a walking corpse. I wasn't a man. I wasn't a boy. I wasn't a man. I was a lost soul. And so, a lot of that all powerful God father figure, part of that is Odin. But Odin, a god, the god is everything good and bad, and again from that masculine energy. And so in some ways, I feel like I'm asking Odin to teach me, but also to accept me as a young lady, to accept me as a woman, as not as a bride, or you know what I mean. I'm to accept me as perhaps a daughter, and further my growth in that way. In the same way that I want Athena, the feminine energy, to help share with me and explain to me and let me understand those feminine energies, And so I really, in many ways, I'm trying to break, to push through my programming, my brainwashing, for lack of a better word, but also to grow my development and my bonds with, Athena and Odin, and also the divine unity of everything, my place in the universe, which is pretty big to swallow. We are headed into Imbolc, which is the next holiday, early February. And where I'm at, the signs of spring are really coming up. The snow's melted, the ground is changing. I can tell the change in the atmosphere. I'm very much attuned to my environment. And, much like at Imbolc, the goddess is recovering from Yule, and the energy and the sun is powering her and giving her the strength to fulfill her, to go into being the maiden form and early womanhood. I too am in that stage, even though I've been doing this for 20 months. I am at the point that some 8 weeks hence, I will have GCS, and in many ways that is a clencher. That's a deal, not a deal breaker, but that's a deal maker. That's a huge step for any trans woman. And again, I think that's a huge. I'm really looking at it, and I may be deluding myself, but I really am looking at that as a bridge that I need to cross. To be a woman, in my own mind, I have to cross that bridge. I have to experience life that way. And again, that's kind of the way that I look at it. And again, back to Imbolc, as the idea of clearing out negative energy and clearing out the old to make way for the new. In many ways, the last 20 months have been that experimenting. And much like the wheel of the year, we're going into a new cycle. Again, you get rid of the old to make way for the new. So, there's a lot there that I'm really drawn to. But again, I think back to Jamie's question about, do you have any doubts? And I think it's human to have doubts. And we'll see. I feel like there's a panic button in front of me if I want to use it. And if I feel doubt as late as the day of my surgery, I will stop it. But I don't think so. I really thought this through. And I don't think surgery is a necessary step for everybody. It's an individual thing. It's what you want to do. And I think a person can be totally happy without it. But I know that I can't. And I'm looking forward to finding out what's on the other side of that bridge, And it may very well be I get over there and I look back and I say, shit, it's the same view. There's nothing different, but I think it's going to be different. I really, really do. But even today, as I sat there and I was kind of meditating and a little bit of praying, although I hate to think of it that way, but just being aware of the present moment. And again, I look down at my body and my presentation, and I can just clench my my groin, and I can feel the penis, and I'm like, this thing's got to go. This is unfinished business that needs to be taken care of. And I wanted to give more of I got that's a long answer, but it's kind of been something that's been in the background of my day. So for all that heavy stuff, I'll give one light thing and then I'll end it. I love lipstick. And as I came in here, I put on my hat, and I had my tea, and I'm like, I'm going to put on some lipstick. And I thought about just previously, some 20 months ago, just how forbidden lipstick was to me. And, it's one of those things. My daughter, we were out and about today, and I was at a stoplight and I realized my lips were not. I had to refresh my lipstick. What?
I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yeah. All right. Well, a mother's work is never done. No complaints. All right, my friends. I think I will end the video there. So good luck to you in your journey. And as a side note, after some good information, I am back on my dieting regimen. Not as much as I was, but definitely I will. And I got 8 weeks to lose 12 pounds, and I think if I tip the scale, tip it a little bit more of exercise and go back to a little bit of what I was doing, mostly of what I was doing, I think I will lose the weight. I do need to maintain the weight till surgery. But good Lord, that pizza was good. And there will be other pizza in the future. 8 weeks. All right, till next time, this is Karen Gray Owl saying goodbye and good luck on your journey.